Hello, today I'll be talking about the history of military robotics, and I will also be giving a brief overview as to what military robotics actually is. Military robotics is not just your Predator drone flying over Iraq bombing some terrorist group while the pilot sits safely at home thousands of miles away. Military robotics incorporates multiple systems based across land, sea, and air. Air robots, or drones as we like to call them, they're called this because it's more or less came up recently. It's been given to the drones they've been given that name by the media more or less, and it's to promote a negative connotation towards them because there's a lot of buzz right now in the media about personal privacy and how drones can infringe upon that since they carry cameras. However, these drones are not just used to spy, they also can carry out utility exercises such as cargo drops from a ship to land. I think Boeing recently has been testing a helicopter that can carry cargo from ship to land for soldiers to use. There are also drones that can carry munitions and carry out strike missions. Like the Predator drone, for instance, has recently become or been able to carry munitions. I think they can carry like 4 missiles now or something like that, as well as have the capability of doing reconnaissance work. Now we'll move into the land-based systems. Most of these are like your bomb defusal robots. They're used to go into areas deemed too risky for a soldier. There are some that they've put weapons on, and once again they're used to go into an area that is too risky for soldiers, clear it out, and then allow the soldiers to continue on with their mission. The sea-based systems we don't hear a lot about. In fact, I don't know much about them. I know that there's 2 systems that we've been using or testing, one of which is a robotic mine defusal robot that they use to defuse sea-based mines that could blow up a ship. Another one is one that is kind of used to map the ocean floor just to kind of get an idea of what's down there. That's my brief overview as to what military robotics is and how they're used. Let's get into the history. The history actually has a very early start, which I did not realize. Military robotics first arose in 1898 when a man named Nikola Tesla, you may have heard of him, designed a radio-controlled boat that was designed for military use. Well, this didn't take off because the technology was a little far-fetched at the time, and there wasn't much going on after that as far as military robotics goes until around World War II. The United States, the Germans, and the Russians all experimented with radio-controlled aircraft, tanks, and other things. For instance, the United States made a radio-controlled bomber, which was supposed to be used to bomb or do suicide bombs basically into bunkers and hopefully penetrate them and kill whoever was inside. The Russians made a tank that was radio controlled. They called it the Tele-tank, and the Germans made a radio controlled mine which they would sit next to a road and then drive it up onto the road when a convoy of vehicles would come through to start an ambush. There wasn't a lot going on after that either. Technology was kind of the same for a long time. There wasn't a lot that they could do with computers yet because they were massive. So the majority of the stuff we saw was radio controlled. There were a lot of planes and different things. They started putting radios in old jets and other aircraft for live targets for fighter pilots, which gave them a little bit more realism when they were up there training. The next big development happened in the 80s. In the 80s, we made a small reconnaissance drone, which was essentially just a remote-controlled plane again, but it carried cameras and different things on it. Then that moved forward, and we started to make our, I think it's called the Globohawk. It's the predecessor to the Predator drone. The Global Hawk was used strictly for reconnaissance, and it is a rather large plane if you've ever seen it. The Predator drone was the next big development in drones. It carried 3 different cameras used for reconnaissance at first. They carried a thermal imaging camera, a infrared camera, and a regular high-resolution camera. All of these were supposed to be used for battlefield layout and reconnaissance. They soon added, or more so recently added, munitions to the underside of the drone so that it could carry out live attacks. Let's see. Recently they've been adding a lot of autonomous features to drones, and if you didn't know this, Google recently acquired a military robotics firm, and I could see them doing a lot of things with autonomous functions, considering they've started doing self-driving cars and whatever. There's also a lot of autonomous cargo carrying robots that have started to be developed. A company called Boston Dynamics is working on several different robots. Most of them use either human-like functions or they work off of animal movement, and that's what they kind of specialize in. They have a YouTube channel if you want to check that out. Their most famous robot is called the Big Dog, and it's specifically designed to help carry cargo on the battlefield so soldiers don't have to carry so much. There was actually robots used in a Navy exercise over the summer, and this is the first time that's ever been done, and it shows how much we're moving, or how quickly we're moving towards a more mechanized military, or a more automated military as far as robotics go. And it shows where the field is going and how this is a growing field, and how since it's ever expanding, there's going to be more and more people moving into it, and that's where I want to go. I'm a freshman mechanical engineering student, hopefully minoring in robotics so that I can get into this field and be on the cutting edge, because that's why it interests me. And if you didn't know, most of our technology comes from the military. So if you want to know what's coming in the future, you got to look at what's going on right now in the military. So to me, that's why I've chosen this topic. That's why it's interesting to me. I apologize that it's late and that I've had trouble. I finally got this to work. Thank you for understanding.